hello, I didn't see you there. Welcome to History with Los Salchipulpos. Today we're gonna talk about Republica Restaurada and the Porfiriato.
Regaining power of the Mexican nation, Benito Juárez called for an election that he won with 70% of the votes against Porfirio Díaz.
After being elected, Juárez took presidency and he initiated with a series of reforms. One of the first things he did was to reduce the number of men in the military to just 20,000. This caused him to have conflicts between his government and the military. In his new presidency, Juárez became anti-constitutional. He didn't accept any idea that he didn't like and wasn't even open to talk about it. Time passed and it was time for new elections. In 1871, Benito Juárez competed again with Porfirio Díaz for Mexico's presidency. Benito Juárez won again, but this time just by a small margin. Díaz didn't accept his defeat and proclaimed the Plan de la Noria, where he accused Juárez of being a re-electionist. Anyway, Juárez took presidency until his death in 1872, when Sebastián Lerdo de Tejada took presidency of Mexico. Lerdo de Tejada continued with Juárez's policy, but this time he had support from Congress. He incorporated new laws to the Constitution and separated the church from state. During his presidency, it looked like Mexico could finally progress. But time passed and it was time for new elections. In 1876, it was Lerdo's time to compete against Porfirio Díaz and José María Iglesias in Mexico's elections. Before the elections, Díaz, with help from the military, proclaimed the Plan de Tuxtepec, where he didn't recognize Lerdo's government and asked for new elections. Anyways, Lerdo re-elected, causing Díaz to ally with José María Iglesias. Both men achieved to defeat Lerdo de Tejada, who fled to the United States. In November of 1876, Díaz and the military entered to the capital city of Mexico, where Díaz proclaimed himself president. During this period, not all of Mexico's problems were solved, but it served to stabilize the country and strengthen Mexico as a new nation.
After Mexico kicked out the French, the Mexican economy was ruined. There was no industry. Also, Mexico had a big debt with other countries. For that, it was necessary to reactivate the economy. For that, Benito Juárez sold the church land to foreigners, so they can work on it and make a big industry. After Benito Juárez died, Sebastián Lerdo de Tejada went into presidency. In this presidency, he opened new railroads and he also improved the industry. Also, many farmers went into the big city to work in the industry. Economy was finally improving.
Once Porfirio Díaz assumed power, he wanted to create a series of reforms on the law against re-electionism. He changed it so that a president could re-elect himself again after two periods. So for example, Porfirio Díaz would be the president, then another president would succeed him, then he could be president again. Porfirio's first presidency started in 1876. Then, on 1880, Manuel Gutiérrez, his compadre, succeeded him. Porfirio Díaz used Manuel Gutiérrez to change the law against re-electionism so that a president could be re-elected as many times as he wanted. Then, on 1984, the real Porfiriato started. Porfirio Díaz quickly became a dictator. All of those who didn't like his ideas were rapidly suppressed by his military. There was no liberty of expression. Porfirio Díaz had a motto that stated peace, order, and progress. This meant that with the country's peace and order, the nation will progress. To remark that there was no liberty of expression in the Porfiriato, he even had another motto that stated Mátalos en caliente, which meant to all of those that didn't like his ideas will be suppressed or killed.
The economy in the Porfiriato was divided in two phases. The first one started when he came to power in 1876 and finished in 1896. This first phase was dedicated to balance the economy. The second phase was about as getting as much as money as possible. It started in 1896 and ended in 1910, so it had more income than outcome. Also, there was a great investment in Mexico's mining industry and agriculture. Porfirio Diaz made more than 15,000 kilometers of railways, so this helped to transport all the goods and products.
In terms of economics, the Porfiriato was one of the greatest periods of time for Mexico. The economy grew exponentially faster than any other period of time, but this was also a time of social inequality. The difference between the rich and the poor was abysmal. The rich had so much money and the poor had nothing. Thanks for tuning in this episode of History with Sánchez. See you next episode!